Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Simon and today I'm back not with the weekly bookish / reading vlogs, or the first of them, which I was going to be bringing you this Sunday. Let's just say that, as you'll see actually when the vlog does go live, the first 10 days of January were a baptism of fire. It has been an intense start to a new year, yes, as you'll see. And whilst I've been getting content throughout the first week and a bit of the year, I hadn't had a chance to edit it. I started this morning and I'm 2/3 of the way through and it's taken me nearly 4 hours, so that's not going to be going live today. But before I chat to you about what I am going to be chatting to you about in this video, I did want to ask actually, on that note, would you like my weekly bookish / reading vlogs to be on a Sunday, or actually to be on a different day of the week? I'm still going to do videos on a Sunday. I'm just aware that Sundays are prime BookTube delight days. Like, there's so much good content that comes out on a Sunday, and because I know my vlogs are sort of something that I'm slowly building up and getting better at, I don't know, I guess I've got a bit of imposter syndrome about putting them out on a Sunday when there's so many amazing vlogs that go live that day, as well as other bookish videos. So I don't know, let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below, because it's something that I have been thinking about. But what we are going to be talking about today, which is very exciting, because literally exciting is in the title, or excited is, I'm going to be telling you about 22 of the books that I am most excited that are coming out in the next 5 months. I think it's 5, yes. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've been a teeny tiny bit lazy, although there are 22 books that I'm going to be chatting to you about next to me. But I haven't gone through any of the publishers' catalogues yet. So I have just taken these books off my shelves. There will be more. I am going to be going through the publishers' catalogues very, very soon, because I'm going to be starting to programme Chester Literary Festival very soon. So if you would like more of these in the future, let me know in the comments down below, and let me know how regularly you would like them. Because also something I was thinking about the other day is like chatting about the books that came out last year in hardback but are coming out in paperback this year that I'm still super duper excited about, or I read last year and you should be super duper excited for. So anyway, there we go. So I've put the books in month order, and first up I've got 2 books for this month, January 2025. The first of which is Emma Healey's Sweat. I absolutely loved Emma Healey's debut novel, Elizabeth is Missing. If you haven't read it yet, I strongly urge you to do so, because it is utterly brilliant. It is emotional, it is wry, there's just, I just love her writing, and I'm very excited for this one because it sounds very, very different from her previous 2 novels, although I guess both of them have sort of thriller elements at their heart, and this one does too, because I believe it is a revenge novel. Not exactly like a crime thriller, because I think it is very literary, but yeah, it's about a woman who I believe gets revenge on a very, very controlling ex. I am here for that. So we've got that one. Then the second of the books that I'm excited for in January is The Queen of Spies by Alex Hay, who I will be interviewing along with 2 other authors in March. I'll mention both those shortly. But yeah, this on the cover says, in Victorian high society, London's most talented con woman has 5 days to win the game of her life. That just sounds utterly brilliant. I love Victorian set fiction. It is one of my favourite periods in history, and I absolutely loved Alex's debut novel, which had this real, it was called The Housekeepers, and it had this real upstairs, downstairs, Downton Abbey vibes about it, but it was also a heist novel, so I think this is going to be utterly fantastic. Now, I mentioned I'm going to be interviewing Alex with 2 other authors. I don't have one of their books, and that is The Woman in the Wallpaper by Laura Jones. I think that's right. But the other one is Emilia Hart, and this is her second novel, The Sirens. I really enjoyed Wayward, which was her witchy debut, and actually got to interview her about that when it came out. This seems to have a more mermaidy vibe about it, and is about a woman who goes to escape from everything. Well, quite a sinister moment, I don't want to spoil anything, but she goes to escape to stay at her sister's, but her sister isn't there, and as she's kind of trying to work out what's going on, I think that's when the mermaidy vibes appear. So again, a book that's kind of got a thrilling element to it, and yeah, very, very excited for that. Then we have Old Soul by Susan Barker. I absolutely loved her previous novel, The Incarnations. It's a phenomenal book. Mum talked about it quite a bit on her channel last year. In fact, I think it might be in her best books of 2024 video, maybe. It was amazing. This is a vampire novel. Now, I did start this the other day. However, I had just read, as you'll see in the aforementioned vlog that will be coming out at some point soon, I had read another vampire novel, and I think whilst I was definitely, how awful to say is, had the thirst for vampires after seeing Nosferatu and then picking up the other novel, I was like, right, actually no, I need a bit of a breather between that and the next one, but I will be heading to this one very, very soon because I just love Susan Barker's writing. Then we have, another author that I have read before, and I'm looking forward to heading to again, and it's the first of 3 queer novels that I'm really, really excited for in February. This is The South, It's Giving Brat Summer by Tash Aw, and this is about a young man who inherits this old house from his grandfather, I think, and he goes there, and once he's there, he's got to sort this place out. I mean, I love a crumbling old house. That in fiction, yes please. I mean, in life, I'm intrigued by them. I spend far too many hours on YouTube looking at abandoned old house videos. I won't lie, I just do. Something that I need to be a little bit more wary of because I should be spending more time reading, less time screening. But anyway, so we got that element that I'm really, really excited about. But then he meets, I think, a farmhand, and things start to occur, and so we follow on from there. But yeah, really, really, really looking forward to this one. Then we have Deviants by Santanu Bhattacharya. Now this won't look like this. This will have this stunning cover, and this is all about a young man who is queer in India. His parents are okay with it, but they don't actually know what he's getting up to online. But then we go back generations to the story of his uncle, and it kind of compares and contrasts what's going on for queer people back then, now, and how we've still got a way to go, I believe. And we'll be picking that one up very soon. And then we have, this is the penultimate of February's books that I'm most excited about, Before We Hit the Ground by Selali Fiamanya. And this is set in Accra, Glasgow and London, and is the coming of age story of a young queer man and his struggle to find his place in the world. And not only does this look at sexuality, it looks at one of those things that I really, really love in fiction when it's done well, which I have high hopes for this one, where it's about where cultures come together, where they clash and they collide, and all that rich stuff for discussion. So yeah, really, really excited for that. And last but not least, coming out in February, we have Han Kang's new novel, We Do Not Part. I have read The Vegetarian and The White Book. I haven't read Greek Lessons or Human Acts, and Human Acts has had a real resurgence, I've noticed, in the last sort of 3 or 4 months on BookTube. I think it's partly because of that stunning new cover that they've given it. I'll pop that here. I already have a copy of Human Acts, but I still really, really want that one. Honestly, what an absolute one. But yeah, We Do Not Part. So this is a book that got me a bit confused with the blurb, so I'm actually going to read it you. So please forgive me for cheating slightly, because I know some people like a blurb, some people really, really don't. But it says, one morning in December, Kyunga is called to her friend Insian's hospital bedside, airlifted to Seoul for an operation following a wood chopping accident. Insian is bedridden and begs Kyunga to take the first plane to her home on Jeju Island to feed her pet bird, who will quickly die unless it receives food. Unfortunately, as Kyunga arrives, a snowstorm hits. Lost in a world of snow, she begins to wonder if she will arrive in time to save the bird or even survive the terrible cold that envelops her with every step. But she doesn't yet suspect the darkness which awaits her at her friend's house. There, the long-buried story of Insian's family surges into light in dreams and memories passed from mother to daughter, and in a painstakingly assembled archive documenting the terrible massacre 70 years before that saw 30,000 Jeju civilians murdered. I think this is going to be quite the book. Quite the book. I should say, sorry, that is translated by E. Yewon and Paige Enia Morris. Sorry, I should have said that earlier on. So, on to March, and one of my most anticipated books of the year is Story of a Murder by Hallie Rubenhold. I absolutely loved the 5. I thought it was phenomenal. I think the way that she sheds a light and brings forward the voices and the lives of the 5 women murdered by Jack the Ripper was just incredible, especially because she doesn't mention him bar on the cover of the book, and I thought that was so expertly done. That book I found so insightful, shocking, haunting, and I'm very much expecting similar with this, which is all about Dr. Crippen and the wives and the mistress. So yeah, this I think is going to be amazing. And also what I love about, because I know there's a lot of chat about true crime and sort of, yeah, the ickiness around it, but with Hallie Rubenhold, very like Case on Scale actually, I feel like it's the voice of the victims that are foremost in their minds as they're writing them. So, I mean, I want to mention that. Then we've got a lot of books in March that I'm very excited about actually, and not just because it's my birthday month, but I don't know, every year March seems to be a big bumper time for books, and Meike Ziervogel has a new book. This is Shams, and this is about a young Syrian refugee who wants to try and get an education in the refugee camp that she is in. Meike Ziervogel wrote Magda, which, oh, now that's quite the book, and had such an emotional impact on me. It's a book that kind of just sort of, catches you unawares and punches you, frankly, with the way that it's so... I don't want to spoil it by saying any more, but if you've seen The Zone of Interest, I think you will find that book quite uncomfortably, importantly, incredible, and I have high hopes that this will be the same. Then we have Murder at Gulls Nest by Jess Kidd. I instantly smiled when I said Jess Kidd's name because she's just an author I absolutely love. I've loved every single one of her books that I've read. She's now doing thrillers, and I'm so excited for this one. And get ready for the most brilliant bookmark. Yes, it's a seagull. Like, that is just such a treat. So yeah, Nora Breen Investigates. I'm ready for a new series of books in my life. In fact, if any of you can wait, I can't wait until whatever month it was that we're meant to be doing a book that's, or maybe it was a bonus prompt, where for the Savage Reading prompts, one of the prompts, I'm still getting my head around them because we're early into the year. I popped them on Instagram actually today if you want to go and check them out. Or there's the video on Mum's channel actually, which I'll try to remember to link down below. But one of the prompts is to read the first in the series. And if it is a bonus prompt, that is perfect for it. Then we have Stag Dance by Torrey Peters. This is a follow-up to her amazing novel, Detransition Baby. Again, this is one that I'm going to read the blurb of because I find it really tricky to surmise myself, to Simonize, let's say. It says, from the adventures of a lonely logger who, deep in the forest, joins his workmates to dance dressed as a woman, to the story of an obsessive boarding school romance, to the dizzying spectacle of a gender apocalypse brought about by an unstable ex-girlfriend, Peter's keen eye for the rough edges of trans community and desire reveals fresh possibilities. Acidly funny and breathtaking in its scope, with the storytelling audacity of Lauren Groff or Jennifer Egan, Stag Dance provokes, unsettles and delights. I'm very excited for this. I should say that the finished cover will look like this. Oh, I forgot to say what the finished cover of this one will look like. Are there any others where I've absolutely cocked up like that? I don't think so, because where they are quite similar, like this one, they're pretty much that. Anyway, so there we go. Then I will need to put in a final cover for this one. We have Sleeping Children by Anthony Passeron, and this is translated from the French by Frank Wynne, and this is a novel, I think, set in the 1980s during the AIDS epidemic, and looks at it in a French rural town. That sounds like a really different perspective, and I'm really looking forward to it, if that's the right term, because I think it's probably also going to make me absolutely weep. Then another book where I'll just picture the final cover and what it's going to look like is I Want to Go Home, But I'm Already There by Roisin Lanigan. And this book is a modern day ghost story set in an apartment. And I'm really excited to see how this is done, because if it's done well, which I have high hopes it will be, which is why I'm excited for it, then it could be one of my absolute favourite books of the year. Penultimately in March, we have The Grapevine, which will look like this. There you go. there it is on the back. And it says, even the most idyllic neighbourhoods have secret behind every door. And this is set, I think it's 1970s. Yeah, Australian, late 1970s, 1979. And it's a novel where we follow what's going on behind all the twitching net curtains. Oh, that sounds so good. And that's all I needed to know. Very excited for that one. As am another Australian book, but again, another one that I don't know much about. And it is, well, I find it quite interesting. What really piques my interest with books might not be so interesting for everyone else, but this for me, I just want to read because one of my favourite authors really loves this book and has said it's astonishing, a scorching vision of a book. And that author is Charlotte Wood, and this book is Rapture, and it's by Emily Maguire and will look very similar to this. On the back it says, daughter, trickster, pupil, imposter, heroine, seductress, teacher, heretic, saint, abomination, lover, or martyr, devil, legend. What a bio. I might pop that on all of my socials, frankly. I might steal it. But yeah, this sounds really brilliant and would be very good for the savage prompt of, for me, but not necessarily for you. And this is where it's going to be really hard for me to make prompt suggestion videos for all of the prompts going forward, because one of the prompts is to pick a book by your favourite author's favourite author, which I think is a fab riff off the wonderful Chapel Roan, who said that she was your favourite artist. Thought that was brilliant. Then 2 books in April so far, because obviously there will be more. And actually I should mention here that I haven't mentioned 4 books that I've read that are out in 2025 already. 2 of them wouldn't have been on my most anticipated because I didn't know about them, but they are brilliant and I will talk about them in due course. But the other 2 are Natasha Brown's Universality. I thought it was fantastic. And also Emma McBride's new novel, which is The City Changes Its Face, I want to say. I hope that's right. They're both brilliant, so have those on your radar. But 2 that I do have to hand are, firstly, Kit DeWall's The Best of Everything, and I love Kit's writing. I think that she is absolutely wonderful. My Name is Leon is just incredible. I'm going to read you the blurb from this one as well, because it's one that I can't Simonise. It says, Paulette's the kind of woman who likes the future all mapped out. First the wedding to Denton, then the Caribbean honeymoon, the gingham quilt and the baby's crib. Until one morning, Garfield, Denton's friend, arrives at the door with news she just can't take in. Denton won't be coming around anymore. There won't be time to say goodbye. Somehow, Garfield finds his way into her bed, and soon there is a baby, and suddenly giving Bird, her son, the best of everything is what gives Paulette's life meaning. So why is another little boy, Nellie, who keeps Paulette awake at night? See, this is why I hate reading blurbs.
So why is it another little boy, Nellie, who keeps Paulette awake at night? So why is it another little... Anyway.
Nellie, who's being raised a few streets away by a grandfather who's obviously struggling. Surely Paulette is the last person that should be getting tangled up in any of that. So this sounds really interesting. It's going to be one that tugs at your heartstrings. And then, last but not least in April is this, which won't look like this. This is Open Heaven by Sean Hewitt. And I think this could be the book that I was really dreaming existed when I read Tom Cruise's debut novel and was like, oh, I would love a queer love story set in the rural English countryside. And I think this one is, as it's about a young man who ends up in the countryside and then falls in love with a farmhand. What is it with gay men and farmhands, hey? I don't know. I've never had a farmhand in my hand. That sounded way wronger, but actually exactly what I meant. So that's quite naughty. Let's all move swiftly on before I get myself in more trouble. But yeah, what is it about farmhands, hey? So then we're on to May. Blimey, the year's already got away from us. And first up in May, we have Ripeness by Sarah Moss. And this is about a woman whose sister becomes pregnant and she goes to look after her sister, but also, I think, make sure the baby is given away, I think. Then we meet her years later when her best friend finds out that she has a brother that she had never heard about and doesn't know whether to meet or not. And it's obviously good. I think there's going to be some kind of link somewhere there. I don't know what it is because I've not read it. But I should put this down because I should put what the actual cover will look like. But I love Sarah Moss. I have still not read all of her backlist, but she is an author who I really enjoy. And Mum has been raving about her memoir and is really hoping that it's up for the Williams Prize for non-fiction. Then in May, we have Sunstruck by Will Hunter. And from what I gather, although on the front it says William, see on the side, Will Hunter. on the front, William Rafet Hunter. Which is it meant to be? Anyway, either way, I'm very excited for this. This has been compared to Saltburn, and this book starts where we meet a young man who is joining a group of siblings on their summer holiday, I think in the south of France, I want to say. And yeah, in a luxurious mansion, and things go on from there. So I'm very, very, very intrigued for this. And this will look like this. I've got to keep remember doing that. And penultimately for May, and indeed for this video, we have Heather Darwin's A Sharp Scratch, which I think will look like this. Again, don't know much about this. On the front it says they can heal you, but at what cost? I read Heather Darwin's debut at the beginning of last year, The Things We Do to Our Friends, and it was absolutely brilliant, like modern gothic with a sprinkling of dark academia, bit of Mean Girls vibe to it too, which I really, really enjoyed, set in Edinburgh. And yeah, I have no idea what's going to go on this one, but I know it's going to be one that I am probably quite unable to put down, just completely utterly enchanted and wrapped, all those things in when I get to it. And then last but certainly not least is a book that arrived towards the end of last year that I hadn't heard about, although I had heard about the author, who is a poet, and I do blinking love novels written by poets. You have to be very careful how you say the title of this, because it is Muckleflugger. You don't want to get those mixed up, do you? By Michael Pedersen. And this is set on the island of Muckleflugger. And it says, night after night, the lighthouse tears its silhouette into the horizon, taking the gloaming to task for the sins it's covering over. The same stars that reflect dreamily in Muckleflugger's window panes are those that send ships spinning in circles until the sea's ready to claim them and all life on board. Meet Ooze, a young dreamer whose life is about to be turned upside down by a stranger's arrival on the remote island of Muckleflugger. Oh, I think this could be one of my favourites for 2025, I'm going to say it. Should I do a 5-star predictions video at some point this year? Because I kept saying I was going to do one last year and then I didn't. So there we go, 22 and a few extra cheats. Like I said, I haven't been through the catalogues yet, but there is one actually out in April that I do know is coming out in Australia. And this is the thing, because I want to get better at knowing what's coming out like in Australia, in America, in Canada, that might be really, really me. And I need to work out how I do that more. But in Australia, in April, Jane Rawson's new book, Human Nature, is coming out. Jane Rawson is one of my favourite Australian writers, and this is, I think, her first non-fiction book, and I think it's going to be absolutely incredible. So I'll be ordering that, along with some other treats, of course, when it's out in Australia. If you would like more of these over the coming months, maybe every quarter, I don't know, you let me know in the comments down below. I will see what I can do. I hope you're having a fabulous 2025 so far. I'm very much looking forward to having a very chill few days after the intensity of the first 10 of 2025, but onwards and upwards. And yeah, hope things are lovely. I hope you're reading something fabulous. If you would like more savage shenanigans before the next video, then head to my Instagram, my Blue Sky. Patreon is linked down below, wish list, all those things. But until next time, let's keep the conversation going in the comments down below, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.